Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. We have a quick video on a new project to keep our eyes out on. It's called EstateX. For those that don't know, I do cover a few real estate related projects within the crypto Web3 sphere. We're going to talk quickly about real estate in general and then the application of tokenization around this, or the real world asset application of this. Albeit we've explained this in previous videos, but for those that are new or perhaps interested in this kind of criteria of investing or opportunity of investing, it's really quite exciting and a massive market ahead. But in particular, this project, it is or has been around for a few years. Of course, it's sometimes about timing with relation to proper launches, but they have secured a launch pad in these coming weeks ahead, and we will go through that in more detail as well. So it's a bit time sensitive. I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of this one, and we're going to a bit more detail. So let's go straight into a bit more detail about this. Before we do, don't forget, of course, to check the other videos out on the channel and make sure you subscribe if you have not done so already. So welcome if you are new to the channel, and we've got loads of different topics and discussions that we always go through, and a lot of projects that we cover as well. And if there's any particular ones that you want us to cover, do let us know in the comments below. We'll do our best to research them. We tend to only really do them if we really believe that this is something of significance. So let's now go into the topic of EstateX, guys. So for those that don't know, of course, the real estate market is absolutely huge. I want to talk about that first and foremost. Look at this absolutely staggering number that by the end of 2024, the worldwide market for real estate could hit $637 trillion. Absolutely unbelievable amounts of money there. And of course, by 2028, $729 trillion global market value. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, you're thinking, okay, cool. How can we as users or investors, no matter how much money you've got, become involved in investing? And we see so many, well, I do, so many YouTube adverts of like, oh, did you know you could be a commercial property investor or real estate investor or flipping houses, blah, blah, blah. And it's all great, but you know, one of the savviness, the time management, and obviously thirdly, in most cases, a large amount of capital is needed, or at least asset in existence of a current mortgage or something to be able to remortgage, all these kind of things, right? But one of the key applications of tokenization is splitting open or fractionalizing or having pretty much open access to anyone and everyone that has a relation to that crypto token asset that is related to a sector. So we talk about energy, we talk about healthcare, we talked about real estate, of course, as well, with the likes of Propy, for example. And for those that don't understand that context, is that essentially you have a property in a physical format. It can be digitalized to the sense that we use things like smart contracts, the KYC aspect in terms of our identities, our land registry information, our finance information, everything that will become digitally identified, our DIDs within ourselves, our own specific numbers or addresses relating to that, and it will speed up the process. We massively talked about, so for those that don't know, I go to a lot of Digital Pound Foundation events on an invite-only basis, and they talked recently about a pilot scheme around Lloyds Bank, who had several partners, and they sold like $49 million worth of land. This is a pilot, by the way, not actual in real world. But instead of taking like months or years to process this and bring so many parties together in one place and make that transaction happen, it was done within a few hours. Can you imagine the ability to buy and sell houses with the ability of tokenization or real world asset application through cryptography, blockchain, AI, all of these things? So going back to this point, the multiple benefits of the real estate tokenization is that it opens up pretty much to everyone. So you could sit in your armchair or on your sofa, or you're walking around as you're investing, as you do maybe with crypto assets in general, with crypto exchanges, buying, selling, etc. You can almost do similar with elements of housing and real estate. Obviously, there's a few more complications on top of that. Of course, massive legislation is in place to have sort of banking, financial institution aspects. Of course, the criteria of what you need to be able to as a company, allow people to do this kind of thing. So there's a lot to go on to in a minute regarding the roadmap that's ahead for EstateX. But I just wanted to kind of plant the seed in the aspect of what the achievement is possible with this. It's absolutely huge. So we think about that huge number of trillions upon trillions of dollars. I'm not saying all of this will be ascertained by blockchain and cryptography moving forward. Of course, over time, it will take a humongous amount of percentage of that. Talking about over the next sort of 15, 20 years. But in the first instance of the next 5-10 years, it's a really exciting prospect. So we can go back into the aspect of having the identity switched over, the smart contract abilities of deeds transfers, or a sharing ownership of a house. And let's say you've got like 10 of you, and that property manager or whatever now wants to sell. It has to take 10 of you to agree to that, or agree to the share principles of how much you own within that property. And there's loads of things to think about this, right? And we just mentioned about regulatory issues and things like this. It's still being written out, but the fact of the matter is, it's very much on our doorstep, which is why when people say, oh, I wish I knew about something like this 5 years, 10 years ago, and ultimately the technology is here now. The ability to do this is here now. It's just a question now of developing that progress of the actual doing. And Propy have done a great job of this. You can buy and sell houses within their platforms. You can learn how to become a web-free estate agent manager. All of these things are here now, guys. It's absolutely exciting and incredible. So EstateX are fairly similar to that Propy mentality. You have, of course, the aspects of being able to buy and sell real estate around the world, wherever you are, utilizing the token aspect of the real estate token, which is, I believe, ESX. I'll double check that. But there's a few other tokens that wouldn't be needed for security purposes, especially when you're talking to the likes of SEC, etc., and you want that approval. There's loads of different orientations around this. So for me, this is a very early video on this, in the sense that, yes, this company's been around for a few years, but in terms of its development, there's a long way to go. That's what I have to say right now. Out of all of this, is a long way to go, and the roadmap is very extensive. You see back here, starting in 2020, with the conception or the concept of the idea, as many other projects like this came about in a similar time when, of course, the market was collapsing. It's arguably sometimes the best times to buy things, right? And throughout this period of time, there's been a lot of things going on. And particularly very interested in the BaFin, which is related to the authorization and authority aspects of real estate and financial institutional banking services that you have to obtain as licensing aspects for not just the EU, across the world as well. So all these things will be going ahead, and then we get to these kind of recent points where we have a few NFT offerings and things like that, just for like awareness, I suppose. But it's this is what I'm interested in: the ESX Launchpad pre-sale. Now, I've been asked in a previous video when I covered a gaming, which was a project, gaming platform launching on Seedify, that we would do a video as well separately on how to get involved in launchpads like this. I will have that video out this weekend, and I'll cover a few different launchpads. But we're going to jump to Seedify, because EstateX have announced recently, I think it was the 14th of March, that they would be using Seedify as a launchpad initiative. There are two key dates here, guys. The OFE, this is where you may not have like Seedify tokens in a tiered structure, of which, to try not to complicate two things at this minute in time, because we will cover that in the launchpad video, you need at least 100 S-Fund tokens for the tier 1 aspect of the Seedify platform. In context of that, I think the current price point as a recording is around $4. So you're going to need a fair chunk of capital to get at least into the tier 1 structure. Then tier 2 is 1,000, and then you need 10,000 for tier 3. This is all part of IDOs. There is initial NFT offering abilities on Seedify as well. As you can see, here's the gaming one we just mentioned before, which starts quite soon actually, and loads of other different pools that you can get involved with. And these are the aspirations of targeted raises. You can see token price that they're trying to achieve, and then you usually get an IDO or aspect of token price as well. And then you would usually get what you think will be the exchange token price, listing price as well. So you can kind of judge and how much money you might make on a launch scenario. So you claim your tokens, you get them ready for the exchange, whether it's on PancakeSwap, Uniswap, or it is an actual CEX, and you make a decision whether you're going to ride that craziness of the first sort of 12, 24, 48 hours or not. But scaling that conversation back, that is the big next thing right now. That's why I wanted to do this video, to make you aware. I will be doing more videos about EstateX. I'm going to try and get their team on. I've dropped them a message on LinkedIn and see if they respond, because I would love to hear more in depth about this. I understand the concept, I understand the principles of real estate tokenization and the Web3 orientation around that, but it's nice to hear from the horse's mouth, as they say, right? So this is the critical area. 17th of April is the key date of the open for everyone. This is where you don't need to as necessarily worry about the tiered structures of Seedify that we just mentioned here. This is more about you having USDT available through Seedify to get ready to be a part of that. And usually the raise is slightly less allocation, as you can imagine, but equally I think this is such a big opportunity and project. There's going to be a lot of investment in here, and there's a lot more chunks of like the thousands, and of course some people just like to put $50 in, 30, whatever it is, and that'll get eaten up quite quickly, and you tend to have a higher token price on the open for everyone. It's just an example. Bloodloop, which is a video that we covered recently, you see the public offering. This is even different to the private offering. So private is a bit cheaper. I think it's like 6 cents or something. You got a public offering of 0.085. And if you scroll down a bit further, I think it's here somewhere, you got the open for everyone, and you can clearly see that this is a slightly higher price of 10 cents. So that is a completed pool that has been done in that aspect as well. But I think there's a few others coming as well. But you can see that literally got taken so quickly, unbelievably quickly. So that's kind of what I wanted to do the video for, just get everyone's minds around this opportunity. And as I said, there's loads of things coming up which we'll cover hopefully with their team if we can get them on. But I think that initially in my mind, the exciting things of course are the actual full-on launches of the company Propy itself with the licensing, and as we get further down the line with the aspects of the app for you to be able to buy and sell property with that nice and easy on the go, and of course the CEX or even DEX offerings in terms of exchange listings. This is where we get the full proper liquidity aspects. Why the pre-sales are so important: it starts the liquidity pool initiation and creates the platform of these projects to be able to push forward. This is another key area as well. Calls, so i.e. like influencers. I wouldn't really call myself an influencer. I don't get paid for videos. I just do it because it's fun and I enjoy it, and I'm in the space anyway every day. But yes, you'll see this kind of activity kicking up, and it's the perfect timing, guys. Think of the market in general. It's a really exciting time to launch a project right now as we get into that maybe bull run towards the end of the year. It's kind of like a very well timed position, and this kind of leads me actually to the point of the knowledge and expertise of the actual team. You can see here some really big powerful people in terms of their industry experience and their expertise, so very much heavily around finance, around real estate, etc. as well. So I feel like it's in good hands. It's a concept for a few years now. We now need to see that come into fruition. So of course there's risk to this. It's new, it's arguably speculative, but the opportunity is there. I think that's the most exciting part to think about. But we take it with a pinch of salt. We take the roadmaps with a pinch of salt, but they've been on track so far. What's to say they won't continue this development? If they got drive and hunger and enthusiasm, why not? So that's a very quick video update here on a new project, EstateX, guys. Keep an eye out for it. I think it's the ESX token, I believe, according to this. That launchpad sale on Seedify is the key narrative here for around about just under a month's time. So let's keep an eye on it. I will continue to keep an eye on it as well and develop videos around this project as it progresses. If I get the team on, of course we'll do a video, but let us know in the comments below if this is interesting to you, or if you hold any of the other real estate related projects and token aspects in the markets as well, like Propy, for example, we mentioned before. Of course, the likes of Hedera, Algorand are working heavily on real estate tokenization. I mean, so many chains and projects are focusing on RWA, real world assets now. So it's a really exciting time. I think there's a huge projection opportunity here. Let us know what you think in the comments below, but we'll catch up on EstateX very soon. Thanks for watching this one. Take care and bye-bye.